Hey everyone, welcome back to Signature Way. And today I have two special guests. They are actually the reason I got into real estate. So, first off, I'm so excited that to have them as a guest on this podcast, but they just have so much knowledge and insight. And additionally, I'm excited because they are a married couple working together and absolutely living out their dreams. So, without further ado, I would like to bring Rod and Rebecca to the stage. Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
How are you two today?
Great. Happy
Awesome.
New Year.
Good. Awesome. All right. So tell me, how did you two decide to get into real estate together?
Well, I had started in real estate in 2007, and the business just by 2009 I had so much business. I came home one day and said to Rod, I need to look at a budget and figure out how to have an assistant because I can't stay on top of everything and still get business and keep it going. And 2 days later, Rod got an offer to leave his business and get a severance package. So it kind of gave us an opportunity for him to experiment and see if he wanted to be in real estate. And while we still had that income, and then he got his license, and that was the beginning.
So, Rod, like, how do we really feel about being in real estate now?
Um, it's rewarding and it can be meaningful. There are certainly challenges in it. But overall, I would not go back to a regular office job. I enjoy working with Rebecca and being our own bosses too much to go back to that office environment.
I get that. And I feel like that's why a lot of people get into real estate in the first place because of that and flexibility, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Freedom, finances, and flexibility. Pick two.
Yeah, yeah,
I
pick two.
will say that I got into it initially because my purpose in life is to make a difference in my community, and I've been fine tuning it, and real estate seemed to be a phenomenal way to make a difference in people's lives and help them get into the American dream. And so just building relationships and helping people buy and sell and invest and pass legacy in real estate just was a perfect fit.
I agree with that. I definitely agree that real estate definitely gives you the opportunity to change a lot of people's lives within your community, and especially not just the people that are buying and selling or investing, but just directly for the things that you can do for people inside of your community that may need an extra hand.
Exactly.
And you guys have been really involved in making sure you do a lot of that. I know you guys do a lot of community things. And I know this wasn't one of the questions, but I would love to touch on that. What are some things that you guys are doing inside of your community?
Ooh, curveball. Rod, take it away.
Thanks. In the past, we've done charity events. We've provided services to our clients, over the past almost 20 years. Um, and more recently, our involvement in our communities has been getting involved in local business and business networking organizations. I'm on my HOA board. Um, so we've done we've done things that benefit our community just in different ways.
You guys definitely have. And even moving, and I wanted to touch on this a little bit, is you guys obviously are running a great sized business and you're not actually local to the majority of where your business is happening. I know Rebecca's actually ironically in said area right now. Um, Yet you guys are still running a great business. And I think sometimes you guys had this dream to move to Vale, right?
Yes.
And you're still running a successful business. And I feel like so many people might have a dream like that, but are afraid to step away from their business. So how have you been able to maybe overcome those fears and work through that?
What I've what we realized over time was that, we thought living in northern Colorado was close enough to the mountains, and we would just come up to ski. And if anyone knows I-70, that it's unpredictable. So to be able to come up and ski for a day and come back could end up being a very, very, very long day. So by living up in Vale, it's a lot easier to come down for work than up for play because there's an intention and a purpose rather than, oh, it's just for fun. So if it doesn't happen, it's okay. So um, I'm finding that it's as I said, it's much easier to come down to Northern Colorado, the Loveland, Greeley, Fort Collins area for business and client events and seeing people and just continuing the community that we have down here. And then going back up again to Paradise.
I'll also add to that that it's been an evolution in what it's looked like. So the first year we were up here, I think we underestimated how often we would be going back to the Fort Collins, Loveland, Greeley area. So we were driving down there, and it's a 2 to 3 hour drive. We were driving down there every 10 to 15 days. Um, and there were clients that we'd committed to and things we said we were going to do and clients that we wanted to serve. Over the last, we've been here 3 years now. Over that time, um, we've um, we've made some changes to our business, and we've also partnered up with an amazing agent in Fort Collins. And we have a balance now between what we do for our clients and what she does, the other agent, our partner agent, what she does. Um, and for some clients, it makes sense just to completely hand them off because what they need is going to be best served by our partner agent. And for other clients, we're under contract right now with some people, great people that are very close with close friends of ours. So we said, we're going to take care of them. So we drove down, showed them a lot of homes. They're under contract. And our partner agent was there for pieces of it, like the inspection. It's just a matter of having faith that things are going to be done the right way, in the way that we want them done
Mm.
in that partnership. That's critical.
The same level of customer service and relationship building that we have always done, she does that as well.
And I think that's important. I think you guys obviously have a level of trust too. Like you're not I where I see it usually fall apart is when people are micromanaging or not putting clear expectation of what that relationship is going to look like. Right.
Yep. Agreed.
And I will say that through trial and error, we have fine-tuned what that level of trust and expectations are so that we can clearly communicate it up front and test it out with a couple of transactions before saying we're in, this is good. So it's like with everything else, we learn and grow.
One last thing to add. There's a great book called The Golden Handoff
Mhm.
by an agent in the Pacific Northwest. The author's name is Nick Crowder. And that book is an easy read, and it's laid out the blueprint for most of what we're doing. Everyone's going to modify it a little bit to suit their needs, but it's been really, really helpful.
It is a good book. And I I believe that's one that we did as all together, didn't we?
Mhm.
Yes. Yep.
I'm like, because it's been a while since I've read it, but I was like, wait a minute. Love it. So, what would you say is the biggest advantage of running your business together as a couple?
One is that we both understand what each other is going through every day. Um, so if I know that Rod is struggling and he's got 3 buyers under contract right now, that he's managing all the inspections and all of that stuff. I know that today's going to be a really busy day for him and it might be a little intense versus, and so I might be able to do some other things that he couldn't around the house or whatever, because I know what he's going through. And I think that because we know each other's business, that's good versus if you're, if your spouse is in a different business, you don't know what kind of a day they have when they come home. So this gives us a little bit more leverage for each other to keeping a balanced household, because we have that knowledge and camaraderie.
That's a
I get
really
asked this. I
yeah.
get asked this quite a bit. What's it like working with your spouse, and or what are the advantages of it? And I think the biggest thing that might not be obvious to everyone is trust. Um, Trust in that if Rebecca's going to do something for one of my clients, it's going to be handled the way we do it. If she's going to step in because I have some emergency to deal with, I know she's going to do it the way we do it. Um, the level of customer service, what we're going to spend our money on, um, things that are unusual that we want to bounce ideas off each other, complete trust that we are both in sync on important things.
And part of this is we have, um, supposed to be weekly, but it's at least bi-weekly meetings, just like we would if we had a team with other people, like when we had you on the team, where we have constant conversations about where are we with our budget, our goals, where's that marketing piece, how are these certain buyers going. Sorry, there's a truck going by.
You're good.
Um, so we're always communicating. Very rarely are we missing things. Like I think I talked to Rod 3 times on my drive down here.
Mhm. It's because you missed him so much.
What?
So, on that, how does your branding then or your story kind of communicated to your sphere? Like, do you really lean heavy into being a couple that work together, or is it more just kind of like these are our divided roles? Tell me more of how that kind of looks for you guys.
Um, I'll start off with that one. I think we don't really lean into that a lot at the beginning. I think we've learned to read our clients, especially if we're both going to a consultation or if it's just one of us there, where it's an initial meeting to start a working relationship with a client. Some people feel like that's really important. Other people, it's we present it more of just um, kind of like jokingly, you get two for one. Two experienced licensed agents are here to support you. You're going to be dealing with me the entire time, except if there's something I can't get to. If a house comes on the market and you've got to see it, Rebecca's there. She can show you the home. Um, but I think it's for most clients, it's just presented as we're a husband and wife team. We've been in business a long time together, and you you get two agents for the price of one, and you're nothing's ever going to fall through the gaps, and we've got you covered.
What he said.
Ditto.
Trust.
Yep. So, how do you guys then divide the responsibilities? Like, is one person more listings, one more buyers? How does that look like? Does someone just do the negotiations?
So when we first started, when he first came on the team, he was kind of like the back office admin person, and I was the face and doing all the business. And then he started getting more involved in helping with buyers and sellers. And we treated it like a marriage. You're having a bad day. You know what? I'll take over this for you today so that I'll go take these buyers out so that you can like take a deep breath and take care of yourself. And then we got done with the end of the day. Well, they want to write an offer. So whose buyer is it? Am I writing the offer? Is he writing the offer? And things started falling through the cracks with that. And it got very muddy. So we So we decided that the best way to make this work is that I have my sandbox and he has his. And other than like little bits of assistance here or there, we stay in our own sandboxes. So I mainly handle all of the listings and he handles the buyers. Um, and that worked until we moved up to the Vale area. And now he's helping to really build that business up there. That's his main focus. And I'm doing like 90% of our business down in Loveland, Fort Collins, and Greeley. And so that way, again, we've got these different sandboxes. So
Mhm.
some days, like now, Rod's really slammed with all of these buyers, and that's his workload. I'm not helping him with that. At the same time, if there's something that Rod has a little bit more expertise on, like right now, he's part of the real estate planning community where he helps people pass wealth um, without, without paying taxes legally and without having, the children fighting and so forth. He has expertise in that. I can't even describe it here enough, clear enough. So if I have somebody who needs that expertise, I'll bring him in. And then after he tells them everything, he turns around and says, but Rebecca is still your point of contact. If you have other questions, I'm available. However, Rebecca is your contact. So we have this very good passing back and forth. So there's not any mud.
I think that's so crucial, and I think not just even as a couple working together, also just any team. Because I think where things go so wrong is when people are trying to help each other, right? Like, a majority of us that are in this business are people pleasers and wanna help people, and what ends up happening is there's not clear definitions of where everyone is what they're supposed to be doing. So by setting those forth, you guys are clear about it, and even if they come in for a second, if someone's sick or something like that, they can come in, but then you come back and you know what you're owning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think we thought we had it handled back 15 years ago. But the truth was we were it was muddy. Like it was confusing, sometimes confusing for us or frustrating. Worst of all, I think it got confusing for some of our clients. Like Rebecca said, Rod took me out to see 4 homes and I want to write an offer. I started with Rebecca. Now am I talking to Rod? Who is it? So the worst thing was that our clients were not getting excellent service and communication from us. Um, so on one hand, it was easier for us to communicate and deal with this because we're married and we see each other all the time. Um, and in some ways, it was easier to talk about this and like work out these screw ups. Um, on the other hand, being married, like are we talking to each other as spouses now, or are we talking to each other as business partner agents? Um, it My advice to people, whether it's a husband and wife or two unrelated agents working together, is just have everything clear and check in frequently, especially at the beginning, to make sure things are working right and your clients are not reporting any confusion.
I think that's the biggest thing too, because even though you guys might be able to say, oh, because I know some husband and wife teams and they're like, oh, we just help each other out. I'm like, that's great, but do your clients understand that? Like, do they know who they call when there's something going on? Like, who their main point of contact is that clearly
Right.
Yes.
yeah. All right. So how has your partnership shaped the way you guys stay in touch with your database and building the relationships?
I don't I don't think our partnership has, or like how we present ourselves as a team, I don't think that has a lot to do with how we are presenting ourselves or how we keep in touch with people. Um, we are able with technology and with our database, our CRM, we're able to send marketing information personalized, and we have people in our CRM tagged as Rebecca's people or Rod's people. And when mass marketing goes out, it looks like it's coming from one or the other. So we figured that out. Um, it's, I don't know, does that kind of answer your question? Rebecca, step in and rescue me.
I think part of it is like there are some people within the database that have a great relationship with Rod, and there are people that I have built relationships with as on my own. And while everybody knows that we're married and we work together, they tend to just gravitate to the one person that on the team that they know, like, and trust more than the other. So as far as them communicating with us, that happens organically. Um, I think that our client events that we do help with a lot of that. Um, they get to know our story that way too.
Yeah. Eh, so speaking of your sphere, that's obviously the largest part of business where you guys do. What percentage would you say comes from your sphere?
Um, so we started tracking our sources in 2011 or 12. And since then, 91% of our business comes from our sphere, repeat referral, like um, repeat business or referrals from our sphere and our affiliated partners, as well as agent referrals from around the country.
So with that, how did you build such a sphere that keeps you guys top of mind?
Constant communication with our sphere, our people, um, and then it's also being intentional. So building relationships with our lenders and our title people so that we're their go-to people to refer business to. I had a lender for many years that we probably did 7 deals a year together, and half of those he referred to me. It wasn't me just bringing him in. He's since gotten out of the business. So he's not part of the program anymore. And then I'm very intentional when we're with Keller Williams Realty International, and I'm very intentional about going to our regional as well as international events and meeting and having intentional conversations with people there and building relationships so that when I'm intentional with that, we could have 10 referrals from agents in a year.
Yeah, and you guys do.
Yes.
Yeah. So on that, when you said constant communication then with the sphere, what does that look like? What's one of your I know it's a touch program. So what is one of the best touches you guys do that you see a lot of return on?
It can be we do a lot of things in different methods. So there's emails that are personalized or are informational. We use a system called HomeBot that sends a monthly, pretty accurate data driven estimate of their home value and what they could potentially do with their home equity. We send some traditional things like a magazine once a quarter and sports schedules for football and baseball. Um, Rebecca's mentioned a couple of times, we host client appreciation events. Well, if 50 people show up to that, you better believe there were probably 250 emails or phone calls or text messages that went out inviting people or reminding people about it. Um, Rebecca's much more oriented towards phone conversations. I am leaning more towards text messaging and social media. Um, or that just plays to our strengths a little better. Um, Something we've learned over the years is that if you're forcing yourself to um, adopt and maintain a lead generation method that is not in your wheelhouse or something that is just really difficult for you, it's gonna probably not work. Um, so I think of all those things, I think phone calls are most phone calls are most effective at having really good, meaningful conversations with people that could lead to business. Homebot has been effective. We get feedback that it's useful, and um, something else that I do, I guess it's lead generation, is social media. I'm mostly focused on Facebook, and it's more just another way to keep in touch with people. There are some people that's where they connect with other people, and I'm meeting them there. They're not phone call people. Fine, I'm not going to call you, but I'll watch your Facebook page.
Well, and from your past industry, and obviously I just have knowledge of this, but from the past industry that you were in, I feel like a lot of those people probably aren't people that are gonna sit on the phone usually. And so by what you provide on Facebook, the stat videos and everything like that, they're high skill people, you know. Therefore, that is what gets them engaged and gets them thinking about real estate to maybe call you.
Um, I think so. That's happened. In the last 6 months, I've had two people get in touch with me out of the blue and say, "Hey, I saw your video and I really like the stats information." Or another guy said, um, you know, "I know we haven't talked in 3 or 5 years, but my in-laws want to sell their house in such and such town. Can you connect me with another agent in that area?" So it's just another way to keep in touch with people.
It's being
We
visible.
we also send out birthday cards, and one of the things that I've gotten out of that is, like, we send them to the kids, that are still in the household, and I've gotten, messages or calls from the parents saying that their kids only got 1 birthday card in the mail, and it was from us. So, that do you think that's memorable and that's a takeaway and they see that we care and that we are so engrossed in helping them and celebrating them that they can see that we're gonna take that much good care of them when they're wanting to buy or sell real estate or their family is.
Well, I think to that point of the birthday cards, I feel like handwritten notes kind of went away for a little bit, and I feel like they're making a comeback because people are craving kind of the authenticity, kind of older day
Yep.
feeling, and no one's providing. Everyone's moving towards social media, which, yes, you should be doing social media, you should be diving in and understanding that what's going on there to stay with the trends. Yet, if you wanna build true intentional relationships, little things like that can mean way more than you realize and can be much cheaper than hosting a giant client event.
Yes. Good
Yeah, I
point.
think it shows you're making some effort, and people don't receive very many handwritten notes, so it stands out.
It does.
Yes.
So, what do you guys do for your events? Are they like big blowout, 10,000 people showing up, you know, DJs coming or
We've had
totally Rod's
a
vibe.
lot of success of doing, breweries or distilleries or wineries, um, especially those that have, activities or things that kids can do,
Mm.
so that families come. Most of the time, they don't bring their kids because it's a nice night out. At the same time, it's nice to have that option, and we we're averaging about 25 to 30 people at every event.
Which is actually a fantastic turnout rate because usually it's not even that much. I hear so many people they go to do their first client event and they're like, "Oh, I only had 3 people come." And I don't think they realize though the intention behind the before and even after events, how that's actually more impactful though than the actual event itself.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing before the event? Like what's that process look like?
So we send a postcard with the invite. Usually that has a link or a QR code so people can RSVP. We let people know what to expect when they're there. So we tell them food and drink is on us. Um, we if we have some giveaways or there's going to be a business partner or vendor service provider that might be bringing in some gifts, we let them know. If it's going to be dog friendly or kid friendly, we let them know. We send those out as early as possible, and then there's usually a series of phone calls, text messages, or emails to remind people.
I
I
like it.
think, yeah, we send out this year, we sent out a save the date in January that had all the events through the year.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
smart.
actually,
It also holds you
3
accountable.
yeah, so it's on the calendar, it's gotta happen.
Yeah,
So there was an event last month, and then there'll be, another couple events in the early and late summer. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's cool. So, what is one small habit an agent could do to either strengthen their sphere or relationship as a couple? So, if one wants to take the sphere and the other one wants to take the couple.
So I I my suggestion is to have like one-on-one, like let's go out for coffee or for a beverage and just have fun. Let's just talk and share and so forth because it just continues to cement the relationship and it's not about real estate. It's about how much we just love our people and love spending time with them.
I Someone's doing like the 50 coffee dates for the year. Is it Jenny Wallach? And I think it's genius because really it is just you get to just spend time with a person and talk about anything, but it's just being intentional about that relationship.
Exactly. I have no intention of talking about real estate. Sometimes it comes up organically just because, people ask, I'm asking them, "How are things with you? What's going on with you?" And they turn around and say with you, "How's my business? How is it being in Vail and coming down here?" It just happens organically. I have no intention of saying, "So, who do you know?" It just is about connecting.
I give similar advice. I used to, and still do, help guide and train a lot of new agents in our office and in past offices, and I tell agents, just connect with people as a human being. Just be a friend and have conversations with people and let them talk about them. Don't be the agent that throws up real estate all over everyone else. No one likes that guy.
No, like,
Don't.
hey, I'm in real estate. I'm in real estate. Hello, I'm in real estate.
No,
Want to do that? Oh,
no, no. And the second part of your question was, oh, well, first part, one small habit. So I would say, similar to what you're saying, like habits usually start small. So if you can have one meaningful conversation with a person that you know and real estate becomes part of that conversation, that's a great place to start. Don't say you're going to talk to 10 people or 20 people today if you're not doing any. So just start with one and be consistent about that. And after a week, maybe you can do two and it'll grow.
It's also sometimes the hardest part is having the first conversation and picking up the phone and making one phone call. So if you want to talk to a lot of people, just start off with the first phone call. Because once you get done with that first phone call and you get that bucket fill, then it's a making another call is so much easier. So that's I think we're both talking about like one coffee, one meaningful conversation every day, and it turns into more.
Sometimes agents struggle to connect with people in their community. And a good solution to that is connect with people, find a group of people that have a common interest to yourself, find your people. Um, there was an agent in an office I used to be in that was like seriously into motorcycles. I think he was in a motorcycle club for a while. Um, and he asked me once, like, where do I find people to work with? I was like, do you have a lot of friends that ride also? He's like, oh yeah, all my friends ride. Do you see them often? Yeah, we're out every weekend. Well, how many people are in that group? Like 50. And then I know there are 100, and there are people I used to ride with. I'm like, we'll talk to them because some of them are going to buy a house. Find your people. Like, am I into motorcycles? No, but I'm into fishing and I'm into skiing. So I join groups of people, or I start groups related to things that I'm genuinely interested in. Don't don't do something fake because people can smell that a mile away. Um, just connect with people, not, and as many as possible. Connect with people on things you're genuinely interested in.
I love it. And then from the side of if they're starting a team, husband and wife team, wife and wife team, husband,
Ooh.
husband, like what advice would you give them for starting?
Okay. My first suggestion with all of that,
Is get a good therapist? No, just kidding.
besides the things that we've talked about with the trust and communication, set boundaries within your house.
Mm,
You're not talking about business in the bedroom. You're not talking about it in the kitchen. There are places in the house that, like, we're in one room and we start talking, things morph into a business conversation. We actually get up and leave the room and go to a different room because that energy stays in that room. And you don't want, like, if we're having a challenging conversation about a, a challenging transaction or whatever, um, I don't want that energy in my bedroom or in some of our happy places. So make sure that you set boundaries within your house as to where you have those conversations.
That also goes for time of day. Like, we
Yes.
really try very hard not to talk about clients, transactions, finances after like maybe 7 o'clock. There are always going to be exceptions. This real estate is a business where occasionally something catches fire and has to be dealt with. But for the most part, don't, once you start making dinner, don't talk about real estate. Um, I think, um, know, like, figure out what your strengths are. One person might be more analytical. One person might be more emotion and empathic and relationship focused. Um, you can use those things to and play to your strengths, and you can start to divide up the business that way. Um, I know we said before, like, one person should handle buyers and one person should handle sellers. That's just what worked for us. Um, I've also talked to other agents, other husband and wife teams that have gone through a similar evolution. And some of them, like, one person is the operations or admin, and the other person does all the client facing stuff. That works for them, but just stick with that. That that's been really important. Um, and also, we made a commitment when we first started working together almost 20 years ago. We said if the work starts to interfere or create friction or problems with the relationship, that we would make changes to the work stuff, and we did that. Where I stopped working on the real estate team, yeah, out, and did other stuff in our real estate office. Um, and then I came back and we kind of laid out new ground rules, and that helped a lot.
I like it. So, from all of this, what is a favorite book or podcast you would recommend besides the Golden Handoff?
I was talking to Rod a little bit about this. I always tend to lean towards the book that I'm reading right now, but I'm going to go back a little bit. Um, a book that I read a little while ago called The Coaching Habit. And while it has to do with, like, managing people, so, like, if you're a manager in a business or a company, and it talks about just asking questions. And why is that important? Like, what is your goal? What do you want? And why is that important? And just continue to ask questions and listen so that once you get into, okay, so what I understand is this. So this is how I could help you with that. Is that something you would be interested in hearing about, or do you want to learn more or go down a different path? So it's always them focused rather than me focused. So I just really like that book for that reason.
Book I'm reading right now is Atomic Habits. It's been out for maybe almost 10 years. So that one's good. And then podcasts I like is Bigger Pockets. It's usually focused on real estate investment and getting started in real estate investment. And I've learned a lot of things from that. Actually, a client turned me on to that. And now I quote that and recommend it to other people. So it's it's fun to listen to, and there's a lot of really good information.
I admit that I don't have a podcast that I listen to. I I like to focus on real estate and my coaching business and then disengage and just listen to music and or silence. So
Oh, there's a new one out, Signature Ways. Have you heard of that? That
I
one's
have
really good.
not. I will have to listen to it. Gosh, I wonder that host is probably losing her mind. No. I love it. And I like, Rebecca, how you're like, "I listen to music," and I thought it was ironic, the song that just came on in the background. So, "Hold my hand." I was like, "Oh, it's kinda like a perfect sign-off song for
it is.
well, thank you
So
both for doing this." Oh, you were gonna say something.
I
Go
was just gonna say thank you for being so amazing, and um, it is a joy, and I'm so proud of you on in seeing how much you are growing and building everything in so many ways, not just business, but your family. And I love you so much.
Aw, you guys are so
Someone
sweet.
someone asked me about 2 weeks ago. Someone asked me about 2 weeks ago, what you've been in business a while, you've been successful in real estate. Is there a transaction or something that you're most proud of? And it wasn't a transaction. It's you. It's Savannah.
Well,
We're
thanks,
all gonna
guys.
cry.
Like,
No question.
so if you guys can't tell, they're definitely like second parents to me. So they were there when I'm like, actually, this is a fun story, and I'm happy to share this with the world. Um, Rod was actually in the room and was one of the first people to find out I was pregnant with my daughter, which was pretty hilarious because I was trying to like mask that I had just fallen and probably broken my ankle, but I was concerned that I, hurt my little one, and so was in the hospital, and they came to my rescue, and they got to learn the news that day. So, and it will forever be, you guys knew before my actual parents knew. So,
I still love your mom though.
yes, yes. So,
I remember I remember that very clearly. Standout moment. You're like, you showed me the black and white photograph. I'm like,
wait, what? I think the best part was too is that you had made a joke about it too, because they were rolling back to the room. You're like, "Where were you at an ultrasound?" And I was like, "Actually, yes."
well, check this out. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yep. So, well, thank you both for being here today, and thank you for everything, of course, and thank you for making me cry. It's always a good time. So,
Of course, they're tears of joy.
they are, they are. So, all right. Well, thank you, and everyone. We will see you in 2 weeks for our next episode.
All right. Thank you, Savannah.
Thank
Bye.
you, Savannah.
There